Some thoughts on consciousness. Hi there, crypto fans. Hi there, remote viewing fans. Dick Allgire here. It's another beautiful day at Ethereum Place, and I brought out one of my favorite old shirts. My wife has been trying to toss this shirt for about 25 years. She keeps hiding it, and I keep finding it, and I keep it in the back of the closet. But it's really comfortable, and I like the colors of it. Okay, I'm going to be doing the Night Dreams radio show with Gary Anderson this Friday night, which is a pretty big radio show, a big deal. This is kind of the legacy of Art Bell, and it was the Art Bell show that originally got me into remote viewing 28 years ago. So I look forward to doing the show, and I'm trying to think of some things to talk about on this big radio show. Some thoughts on consciousness, trying to explain consciousness. The mainstream science view of consciousness is that consciousness is generated by our brains, that the universe is this big, sterile, uncluttered, unconscious place, that the vast cold reaches of the galaxy would have no conscious, no sentience, and that our brain housing group, the brain encased in our skull, is the genesis of consciousness, that somehow consciousness sprang up as we evolved as life forms. And I'm not buying that. Remote viewing teaches us otherwise. The question is, what is primal, consciousness or human life? Is consciousness derived of human life, or is human life derived of the consciousness of the universe? Our understanding is that consciousness is a field, consciousness is a dimension, consciousness is pervasive, and that our brains don't generate consciousness, they're actually a buffer, a filter, because all the information of the universal consciousness field is there. And for us to have this experience as humans, we need something to kind of block that off, much of it. So our consciousness, we think, is derived in communication between humans, would be derived by our 5 physical senses. So I can look at you and smile and make you happy, and that's a form of communication. I can frown or make a threatening gesture, which I'm not going to do. I can yell at you, or I can say loving words to you. You're a wonderful person, I love you. Auditory communication. You can communicate by smell. When I go swimming in the morning, I come home, Mimi will walk by me and she goes, oh, you've been in the ocean, I can smell the ocean. That's a form of communication. You can communicate by touch, smell, all our 5 physical senses. Could you communicate to somebody in a dark room just by your presence without them knowing you're there? Could you manifest feelings of anger or unease or happiness? That's a challenging thing. So I don't know how deep I'm going to get into the philosophy of consciousness on this radio show. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a theoretical physicist. I probably will be talking more about all the bizarre and weird remote viewing experiences that I've had, because after 27 years and probably over 1,500, maybe 2,000 remote viewing sessions, I've seen some weird shit. So, but actually in terms of the impact, the most simple target can have a profound impact. If the target were just a chair in a room, in a building a continent away 15 years ago or 100 years ago, and you correctly see, describe, and sketch that chair, that's remarkable because you've bent time and space, you've defied physics. So the very act of remote viewing on any level defies our understanding of physics and bends space and time. So I'm ramping myself up for this big radio show on Friday. We'll put a link up when we get closer to it. Yeah, I'm thinking about the top 10 strangest or amazing things that I've seen in remote viewing sessions, but only one can be UFO related. I'm putting that limit on me. I know Gary Anderson is going to want to know about the UFOs, but I'm going to try to steer it away from the ET stuff. So those are my thoughts on consciousness. Consciousness is a dimension. Consciousness is not necessarily generated, right? Like where does your memory exist? Interesting questions. I'd like to see your thoughts below, and we'll be following things as the sudden death overtime of humanity ramps up.